The Best Ball Mania draft edition of the Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Also, listen to every podcast episode on this network for free just by subscribing to the SGPN feed. Get it wherever you get your podcasts.
Are you ready?
Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome. Something light on a Monday. We're hopping into our first Best Ball Mania draft on the program. We'll do a bunch of these before the season starts. For the first one here, I have to get on Ryan Kramer, co-founder of SGPN. And if you haven't heard, virtual Kentucky Derby winner.
I have to explain myself now.
You have to.
It's this whole thing. I mean, it starts by saying, friend of the program, Scott Bowser, convinced me to get into this crypto thing. Turns out it's digital horses. Dumped an irrational amount of money into it. Would never tell the wife and kids how much. And on Saturday we were making our second run for the Kentucky Derby, and we were a pretty big long shot. We won, cashed like $5,000 in actual money with the digital horse.
Crazy.
So, I think we're gonna get some sort of a sweet like a Letterman's jacket, but a Derby winner. You know, so
you have to. You 100% have to do that.
And then immediately celebrated by heading to the Magic Castle here in Los Angeles. So had a full Kentucky Derby Magic Castle
day. Full day there. How many of these drafts have you jumped in already with Best Ball Mania?
Probably a dozen or so. Nothing. We did a couple before the Best Ball Mania dropped, and then have been doing a handful here and there. Now that the summer is getting slow, I'm going to start ramping it up because it's just absolutely. Thinking about football. Nothing better than drafting.
Just firing them off. The only news today was the Jonnu Ramsey for Minka and a late round pick. It's kind of funny because Steelers fans thought they were just getting Ramsey, and then they realized like 30 minutes later, actually Minka's is leaving. So any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. He seemed like he was a dog. Maybe there was something there that made them want to get off the Minka position, but man, is there a coach in the league that loves a player more than Arthur Smith loves Jonnu Smith?
No, there isn't.
It's unreal. I was, we've been really heavy on the idea of Jaylen Waddle, offensive player of the year, 500 to 1 on the Sports Gambling Podcast. And this is a great move. Getting Jonnu Smith out of the way. I like him a little bit less now in the 12 personnel up there in Pittsburgh. Yeah. But man, the Miami situation for Jaylen Waddle and Devin Achin and we just need Tyreek Hill to do something crazy, and those guys could go nuclear. But the Pittsburgh situation, what are they just going to run heavy personnel, DK Metcalf on the outside, and I have no idea what this offense is going to look like.
It's going to be, what is it going to be, 15 tight end personnel, or like what are they going to do over there?
I just love the idea that Jonnu Smith is the big trade news. It's not. It's like you mentioned it. Minka and Jalen Ramsey, two big top end defenders, and yet Jonnu Smith is the piece that all the fantasy nerds want to talk about.
Oh yeah. I'll never forget when Jonnu like screwed everyone that year. What year was that, when he first signed with the Patriots with Hunter Henry, and he had just an awful season and people were going crazy drafting him so high? Does this change your feelings on the Steelers and how they perform? Because if I hear the term all in again, I might lose it a little bit.
I mean, again, they must feel pretty good if they think they're a Jonnu Smith away on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah. That's impressive stuff right there. Before we try to jump into one of these drafts here, what do I tell everyone about? Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. No waiver wire, no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog also is a great place to play a pick'em. I will sneak in some golf to the episode, as I always do, for the John Deere Classic already. Gosh, time is flying by. Ben Griffin, Jason Day, and Denny McCarthy finishing position better than 20 at the John Deere Classic. So sign up with Smalls to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SMALLS. Now is a good time to do that because we are going to jump into one of these drafts here and draft our first one on the program. What is your typical strategy that you go for, Kramer? Because I haven't done a lot of these this season quite yet.
I mean, honestly, it's a lot about where you get drafted. Knowing that you're doing more than one, you can kind of have the freedom to say,
Yeah.
okay, gonna do this in this draft. I will say anecdotally, I think I like drafting early and then being able to take maybe a running back with the second or third round pick there and then firing off more receivers. I mean, I guess I'm an old guy, but I like to draft young. I like they call them piss boys. I like that yellow. You got to just stack the yellow early, get the pass catchers. And yeah, I mean, I'm mostly taking crap quarterbacks too. My big takeaway so far is if you're not taking Josh Allen, Lamar, just wait.
I feel like I've done a couple of them and I found myself just loading up kind of on wide receivers and running backs until like the 9th round and then going quarterbacks and tight ends and just ending it out that way.
Yeah. I mean, like in years past, I always find the lineups with 2 tight ends don't do as well. You got to play the 3-man weave there, hope for the touchdown. And so, yeah, if you're spending a couple more roster spots on quarterback and tight end because you're taking bad ones, you got to make sure you get the good receivers and a couple good running backs.
Right. We're gonna jump into 20-second one for anyone that is like thinking about joining with us. I think Kramer's gonna try to do it first.
I'll poke my head and see how we look.
Okay, let's see
if we got open spots.
Okay.
I'm willing to eat the. Oh no, this is bad. I gotta get out. There's only one spot open, so we'll wait a couple of minutes.
Okay. All right. We'll wait a second.
Let the next one go. There's nothing worse than going in and being the 12th guy, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna eat an auto draft.
Well, shit. You mentioned I like to draft rookies too because I think that I know that they have a tendency to outperform their EDP if you pick the right ones. And especially later in the season, when playoffs start happening, you see them have they start to spike and outperform there. So I think taking rookies is obviously like a solid strategy. I know it scares people though. Like I wouldn't be scared. Every time I've won, like even last year in that Circa contest, I had BTJ and Neighbors. And that's a big reason as to why I won.
Well, you're right. They tend to do better at the end of the season. Also, it's like the closer you are to the actual draft, the higher that ADP goes for the rookies because everyone's like super excited right after the draft. They launch Best Ball Mania. Rookies are probably all overpriced. And then as the draft season goes on, you'll notice the rookies start to sink back into the position they should be in. And I'm with you, rookies and also second year wide receivers. Very, very much. When in doubt, take a second year wide receiver. That's something I'll do a ton. All right, we got an empty room, so enter the 20-second Best Ball Mania draft.
10 more to start. 9 more.
$2 million to first.
$2 million to first. That's not any chum change there.
$1 million to second. You can win. You can become a millionaire coming in second place in this contest.
Yes, jump in the draft if you are in the chat. Who's in the chat? Mikey's in the chat. Trevor's in the chat. I screwed Trevor last year because I really thought that Dalton Kincaid was going to be something, man, and that was a painful season for me.
Yeah, he really. I mean, and that's kind of the takeaway too. You see, there was such a surge on tight ends based on the previous year, last year.
Yeah.
So all these guys going early, and at the end of the day, they didn't really perform. And now you're seeing the opposite. If it's not Brock Bowers or Trey McBride, I think it's the same thing as the quarterbacks. Like if you're not taking the elite guys that you got to take very early, you just wait.
Too much volatility in the position. There always is. Like there's always one guy that randomly finishes in the top 10.
And especially in best ball, if you get 3 of them, you're hoping for that touchdown. One of the guys just needs to score a touchdown every week. That's why Taysom Hill is so fun. Although this might be the end of the run for Taysom Hill. Who knows? Maybe if the Saints get rid of him, he can end up in Denver somehow.
Probably though. I could totally see that. Do you like Evan Ingram? Speaking of Denver?
Oh yeah.
Tight ends?
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan of just this time of year. Watch as many of the press conferences as you can. Coach availability is key. They're talking about Evan Ingram like he's the guy that's going to unlock this. I know everyone's excited about RJ Harvey because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
But Evan Ingram is being spoken about like he's going to unlock the offense. You think about what Bo Nix does well, might not have the strongest arm. Why not get a
Right.
shifty tight end who can get open in the short to intermediate stuff, has a little bit of speed. I could see him being very, very interesting in that offense for sure.
Yeah, he might be someone I have to think about. I know Brenton Strange is one of the names that everyone is pretty high on. And that's when, kind of like RJ Harvey, once like the nerds start like overdoing it with the names, I feel like I have to pivot.
Yeah, it's the fantasy community it's almost like golf Twitter where everyone's on the same things.
Yeah.
And so once that inertia starts going, it's like, all right, like RJ Harvey, his ADP sunk. Like every week he was dropping rounds, and now he's probably overpriced, and it becomes pretty difficult to draft him because even if he hits, you're probably still barely getting good value.
It's funny too, because if you just search like, oh, best values in best ball, you're gonna find 4 articles that look almost identically like they all look identical.
Yeah, and then you also have AI, which is
That's true. That's a whole nother.
I hate to scare the fantasy content creator out there, but your days may be numbered. I think, yeah, because everyone uses the same numbers and the same models and the same
Right.
projections. And so, obviously you're going to get to the same point, but it's funny to watch it happen. I mean, Sean and I have been at war with these people for years. Like we just dropped our top 10 fantasy running backs. I left Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey off my list.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sure I'm going to get all sorts of hate. How could you're not taking the exercise serious? How could you do that? Oh,
How
sorry,
dare you?
I didn't copy the same projections that you use. My bad.
Also the projections are Saquon had how many touches? Like I can't do it this year. I'm sorry. And I don't dislike Saquon, but there's just no way with his track record that you can like take him as high as he's going. I don't
Third
care.
most touches ever. If you look at the top 5 list and most touches ever, only one of those guys survived the entire next season, and he was incredibly inefficient. It was DeMarco Murray.
Oh, so we're drafting back to back from each other. I have the 1 and you have the 2.
Let's go.
That's
And
fun.
before the chat makes fun of McKee, we should tell him to click the little sun in the top to put it in dark mode. They get
Yeah.
very upset with us when we don't use dark mode.
Little there you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
The boomer status right there.
And then you also want to click the grid so you can show us that sweet draft grid.
I do always feel fine taking Jamar Chase still at the 1-1. So I probably will be a little basic here with it, but he's someone that I feel confident in taking there.
Mickey, if you click that max out arrow on the top right there, it'll make it full screen. You just have to switch to sharing that window. And you're on the clock, Steph. Also.
Am I? Shit.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm paying attention to what McKee is doing. Okay. So I did take Chase there.
So I was actually just having a conversation on my podcast about how I was shocked at how consistent Bijan was last year. He led the NFL with 10 20-point games. He was 2 north of anyone else. Only 4 guys had more than 8 or more. And so he was incredibly consistent last year. And that seemed like in a pretty bad situation. As much as I love Tyler Algier, it seems logical the offense takes a step forward with Penix going into year 2.
He's someone that I bet him to have the most rushing yards next season because he's still, for some reason, like had the 5th. He was like 5th in the odds for a couple weeks ago. And I think that's shifted now, but people for some reason are kind of turned off by the Falcons offense, but they were pretty productive. And even a Drake London I've watched in these drafts slip quite a bit. And I don't know that people should be as nervous as they are just because it's Penix. Because even if Penix say it doesn't work out, then you get Cousins and you just get back to the productivity that he had. So I don't know what the big deal is.
Well, I think also the thing with Penix is he flashed really good at times, and he flashed really bad. He had some of the highest amount of just incredibly inaccurate throws. So that might lead to some pick sixes, more defense, like interceptions. Might lead to higher scoring games. They're not going to have a very good defense still. So I think part of where I was off on the projection earlier with the Falcons, or the hate with the Falcons, is one, I think being Kyle Pitts adjacent makes it tough. I'm also not a huge fan of Raheem Morris, but yeah, I think, this team's going to be in shootouts or playing from behind. Bijan could be a massive, and he was really good last year. it's funny when you go through the numbers in retrospect, how often you end up being like, well, I don't remember that season. I do not remember him being so good.
BTJ went at the turn there. Where does Travis Hunter fit into that offense? Like, does that make you nervous at all?
No, think about all the
Not
targets that have
either.
vacated. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's Kirk or Ingram, they lost a lot of targets. I actually think I'm very high on Brian Thomas. I
Yes.
think some of my favorite teams from early in the season are Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas to start the draft.
Yeah.
And year 2 receivers. And I think with Brian Thomas, you hear the way Liam Cohen's talking about him. He's going to be the alpha in the offense. And I think Travis Hunter probably picks up some of those Ingram and Kirk targets.
Yeah, I think too, Malik Neighbors is going to be, he's probably not going as high as he should be going.
I made him my number 1 receiver. I think you look at what he did last year. He missed 2 games. He still had 170 targets. He had a relatively low catch rate because of the quarterback play. The sky's the limit with this guy. I mean, sure, maybe they're not trailing as much, but how many more big plays are they going to have with either Russ or Jameis or Jackson Dart slinging it?
And what he was able to do with just like bozos throwing him the ball last year and missing 2 games. It's like he barely needs any form of an upgrade to like really demonstrate his ceiling.
Wow, Brock Bowers really slipped there. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he did. Look at these teams, see if there's nothing crazy has happened quite yet, I would say.
Brock Bowers slipping that far, I think, is pretty unique. Yeah, I think so.
I'm in a shit spot, kind of.
This is where what I was saying earlier, like taking that receiver early, you end up with, I don't know, depending on how you feel about the Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylors of the world, it's like an interesting spot to pick up a running back. And then, I mean, becomes very interesting with this preference. This is just, you shoot your shot.
I'm taking Garrett Wilson there.
Yeah. And same for me. Like in other drafts, I would maybe go with a second running back here, but I'm all in on Trey McBride.
I was hovering over him.
It's shocking to me that he would go after Marvin Harrison. He's the alpha in this offense.
Right. I think everyone also, this is part of that, like just wanting Marvin Harrison to be a thing over like what actually makes sense logically in the offense.
Yeah, no, it's just like we've seen Trey McBride. We've seen him perform. The only thing holding him back is touchdowns. He has a comically few amount of touchdowns considering his 25% target share. And so
it's pretty Ricky in the draft.
What? Oh, pretty Ricky. He's a red shield. Be careful.
Oh God.
Always got to look out for the red shields.
All right, let's see. I hovered over Jonathan Taylor a little bit. I don't know why. He's one that I still, where are you at with the Colts?
Oh, I actually think he ended up showing up better in my numbers, and I ended up liking him more than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
So another thing, right? Grinding the press conferences, listening to the positional coaches talk, the Colts seem very keen and aware that they want to run their quarterbacks, but B don't seem like they're going to want to run them in short yarded situation because they're very aware that both guys have had issues staying on the field.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if they're not going to be as willing to run AR-15 or Dan Jones around the red zone, knowing that Dan Jones has the neck injury or the one hit away from a neck injury, and AR-15 is the wrong kind of kidney shot away from wanting to tap the top of his helmet again.
Right. Exactly.
But so I think Jonathan Taylor could have a huge year. I mean, Sean, and go listen to the episode, but Sean made him his number. I believe he made him his number 1 running back.
Did he? I didn't get to that episode yet. I just finished the tight end one, but
I got to pull these up now.
Cause that feels early for Mike Evans. Is it not? I haven't done enough of these.
Sean has Jonathan Taylor number 1 overall.
Okay. But I mean, the path is there, so I get it. You do a good job listening to all the coach speak and it's like going through, not like coach speak, but going through all the. Yeah.
I get thrown off when I'm wrong about something. I've either consumed too many highlights in the spring of that player, or I've gotten fooled by some coach that is completely full of shit.
Yeah.
Zamir White would be a good
I was just
example of
about to
this.
say his name. I was just about to say Zamir White.
I would have been much better off never listening to a word Antonio Pierce said about Zamir White.
He's so easy to listen to, though, unfortunately.
I know.
There.
I know.
So it's coming back around here. There's, I think, Jane Daniels, Josh Allen, and Hurts are off the board. What are you thinking for your pick here?
Well, like I was saying earlier, if you're not going to get one of those top guys, I don't know if it's worth trying to squeeze one in. I don't. This is another interesting portion of the draft where I have some flexibility because I've taken a tight end, a running back, and a wide receiver.
Yeah.
There's some wide receivers that fit that model. I'm drafting. I'm focusing on ceiling here.
Okay.
James Cook has become a guy that I am routinely interested in because I think when he plays, he's going to be good. Is he going to miss games?
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's up with that contract. Selling his house with the drama. Lots of drama. These guys.
So much drama.
So much drama.
And I think the standard build logic would tell you to probably take a receiver here, maybe a little bit of a reach, but I'm going to take Jaylen Waddle.
I like it.
Jonnu Smith just got dealt. Tyreek Hill is on the verge of doing something that will get him kicked off the team. Devin Achane and Jaylen Waddle to me are two must bet offensive player of the years. 500 to 1 for Waddle. I think Achane is like 80 to 1.
I just drafted James Cook because I saw it said showed up to minicamp.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if he plays, like that's going to be an interesting piece.
Oh,
yeah,
you have
I
a
guess
shield as well, huh?
Oh, I got a black shield. Yeah, and then I'll take a rookie running back, Omarion Hampton with Harbaugh. For those scared off by Najee Harris, he is making no money. 1.5 in guarantees, and then I think he can make an additional 3.5. It's not a huge contract, and it's a 1-year deal. So the investment is in Hampton.
I have been drafting a lot of Henderson this year on the Patriots. Yeah, I think Ramondre Stevenson could find his way out of that spot by like week 4 if he's doing his fumble nonsense again.
That Henderson's a great example of what we were talking about earlier, though. Henderson his ADP has gotten to the point where he's basically going this round. We're in the 5th round. I think Henderson will probably be gone, definitely gone before we draft again. And so it's like the secret's out. It does. The fact that Ramondre is going after him now, you start to have this weird calculus of like, do I now like the second guy better?
Yeah. Then you have to switch back. I feel like that ends up happening where you switch back at one point because it gets too inflated.
Yeah, I'm going to lean towards the second guy in most of these situations, with the exception of like maybe elite guys, just because it's a running back. And also, last year running back 0 strategies got destroyed, which means people are going to be scared off them this year. But running backs get hurt. We know that. And I'd rather just continue to lean into it.
One thing that interests me a lot, and I've talked about it on the show a couple of times, but like Juwan Jennings going ahead of Ricky 2 to the chest doesn't really sit right with me for some reason. Like I find myself tapping Ricky P quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's again 2nd-year receiver. You saw the crescendo. You understand. I mean, he was doing all that coming off a gunshot wound, and I think with the type of offense they're going to run, it's a lot easier to see Brock Purdy successfully feeding Pearsall over the course of a season. I'm with you, by the way.
Yeah. And I don't want to be in on George Kittle, but I think I have to be in on George Kittle this year, I fear.
So George Kittle, one of the guys, when I was diving into the numbers, I was like, well, this is interesting. George Kittle is actually one of the more consistent tight ends over time. And I think we just have on the show, we have a little bit too much hate for him, but he has finished as a top 6 point per game tight end. And really he's finished at top 4 in 5 of his 6 seasons. He's been very, very consistent at a position that lacks consistency, but he also highlights what's wrong with the position. We know that he's still going to have spike weeks. We know that George Kittle relies on those big 2 touchdown games. And so to me, he highlights why you either take one of the elite guys or just wait and take 3 of them.
Yeah.
But I was shocked. I ended up finishing with Kittle at number 4 just because it was hard to look past his consistency
Where did you have Kelce?
at 3.
Did
If
you?
he's gonna play, like
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. He's falling so far too. I mean, did he?
And
Yeah,
I think
he's
the
still on
wash,
the board.
yeah, the wash thing is a little over. Like he still wasn't. I feel like he still didn't have that bad of a year. Like I have to pull it up here, but it wasn't horrible. What was he? Tight end 5 with.
That's
He had
the take,
133
right?
yeah, 133 targets, 97 receptions. Like
If him being washed is 5 overall, 7 points per game.
What are we doing
The
here?
previous 5 years, he was number 1 in points per game 4 times and number 2 once. I'm on the clock.
You are.
I've been drafting the shit out of this guy because I just think he's going to get a ton of usage. Jacoby Myers.
It's a good one.
Gino's going to be pushing the ball down the field.
I kind of like the opportunity to take the stack with Joe Burrow here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna do it.
You got to take it or I will because I
have I have to. There's no way I can get around it. This isn't great, but I can't stand him. But I might go Judy here. I'm gonna do it. Not a fan.
If Flacco's the quarterback there, Judy and Njoku are not being drafted at the right time.
Yeah. It's just what happens if it's not. Well, now I'm having.
It could be Kenny Pickett. It could, but I think as long as it's Joe Flacco,
it should be as long. Yeah. This is where it starts to get a little icky.
Well, and this is where I went a little out of line with my rankings just to set up a Michael Penix stack here with Darnell Mooney, who is once again getting the spring treatment of Darnell Mooney is lining up all over the formation.
Yeah. I feel like he didn't he end up having he like quietly had a good year last year, didn't he?
I think that offense quietly was better than I remembered at least. Here, I'll pull up his numbers.
I don't think he did horrible.
Let's see. He was,
or maybe he didn't do as well as I thought.
Per game, he was 38th at 12.1.
Okay.
Missed a little bit of time. Only had 5 touchdowns, but 106 targets. It sounds like he could potentially improve on that. Expect him to be running some of the routes down the field. He averaged 15.5 yards per reception last year. So if he's the big play guy in this offense and the offense takes a little bit of a step forward, plus like we were talking about earlier, I love the shootout potential of the Falcons this year.
Yeah. I'm looking here. I didn't realize that Jacoby Myers finished 1 ahead of AJ Brown in fantasy last year. How about that?
Let's not bring that up. But Myers is so interesting. I mean, they name me. I mean, I understand they have some young receivers, but it's like Bowers, Myers, Jeanty. That feels like the core of what we're going to see the ball distributed to, and maybe one receiver we're not talking about, maybe a deep threat guy. But Jacoby Myers is so good and has been so good on so many teams.
I think a lot of the fantasy nerds are trying to figure out really hard who that receiver is going to be for the Raiders, and I don't think you're going to be able to know until the season happens.
But you do know that Gino likes to push the ball down the field, so that's where it becomes like, all right, I can see there being a deep threat guy that has those occasional 120 yard 2 touchdown games. I just don't know if I want to bet on it.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to pull up the depth chart though. Let's see. We got Dante Thornton Jr. Trey Tucker is the one that Jack Beck is the cute fantasy nerd play. I think.
Yes, it is.
And so, and I've seen, but like you think about the quality of some of these guys, it's like Jacoby Myers is basically an all pro compared to these guys.
Right. Exactly.
Like I'm a diehard NFL fan and I would not be able to tell you, like Colin Johnson is on this team, formerly of the Giants, Tommy Malote, Shedrick Jackson, like the wide receiver room is the most unknown group of people I've ever seen. So yeah, we just spent 2 rounds talking about Jacoby Myers.
We did. we did. Well, now I'm looking at the board right now because someone I would have liked to draft in the past would have been a Kyler, but I don't think I can get there with him this year. I need to take a break from them. a little bit.
Or maybe you're spending too much time with Ryan McKee, and his sourness on Kyler is hurting. I don't know if you saw the aggregators picked it up, but Kyler's going to be running the ball more in 2025. I got Trey McBride. Of course, I'm going to stack him with Kyler.
That's good.
I don't know why I have this soft spot in my heart for Kyler.
I like Trey Harris. That's going to be my first little pick that everyone will look the other way at. And I did take Tyrone Tracy to make a point that I think everyone is overthinking the Giants backfield a little bit.
And then I'm taking Rashid Shaheed.
Do it.
He's another guy who, if you just look at the per game performance, you look at the situation around him in New Orleans, are they going to be a good team? Are they going to be playing from behind? Who's catching the balls?
Yeah.
Chris Olave is a huge question mark. So you're basically talking about Juwan Johnson.
Like if Olave gets hit in the head once, like, is he done? Is that a conversation we're going to be having? Because it seems that way.
Yeah. So I'm Rashid Shaheed is another guy that he has such a high ceiling for where we're drafting in the 9th round. He could very easily be the number 1 target getter in New Orleans and, have some nice spike weeks for us. Cause NFC South is going to be a shootout division.
Yeah.
Both AFC South too, I think.
Where do you have Mark Andrews ranked? That's a name
another guy who I was like, I don't remember him being this good last year. Maybe it's all my Isaiah Likely love. Yeah, he was pretty decent. I'm not drafting him at all. It's kind of the same reason I let Kelce go in this draft. I have Trey McBride. I'm probably just going to get 2 more low end tight ends just to have a little rotation down there. Not worth drafting him in this spot.
I mean, Travis Kelce shouldn't still be here though. Now we're being silly. I feel like.
Wait, is he still out? No, he went. Okay,
he went.
I was considering him when I took Shaheed, but I was like, no, do the right thing. You need the receiver here.
Why is he still showing as available to me? What are you doing, Underdog? You have to jump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where did he get drafted?
I think he's still there.
Oh no,
he just went.
I scrolled down. No, where he is gone. Where is
he? Just went. That's why.
Okay. we talked it into existence.
Yeah. Someone's listening to the show.
Well, and you think about how cheap you can stack Mahomes and Kelce now. It's pretty ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Mahomes is another one that I think people seem to be a little bit lower on than they normally are every season.
We've seen those graphs. He's gotten his EPA. Some of those basically he's gotten worse each year.
Yeah.
I tend to think that we might see a bounce back year offensively from Mahomes, but the team takes a step back, like win-loss record.
Okay, I could see that. Dak Prescott sitting there. He would never still be there. That's funny.
His own coach said he's in the development phase of his
that is a ridiculous. That was a ridiculous thing to state out loud. I cannot, but I have not gotten the chance to talk about that. That is absurd.
I just love that they hire the worst coaching candidate possible. No one's excited about Brian Schottenheimer. And then his first big move is he shuffles the lockers around, pisses off all the vets. And the second move is to throw your franchise quarterback under the bus, saying he's developing. What the hell?
It's actually absurd.
Yeah, it's kind. I mean, it's amusing, I guess I would say. All right, this is an interesting portion of the draft.
I know, and shit, I was hoping to get Drake May there.
Oh,
I was. I need a tight end, kind of. But
well, you have Judy, right?
Yeah. So it's not great.
All right, I'm just going to take a rookie receiver, Luther Bird, and see what they plan on doing with him in Chicago. You should.
I'm going to take Little Hands.
I was going to say you can take Njoku to go with Judy.
Where is Njoku here? Oh, I could. You're right. I didn't see him there.
That would be the sharp play.
We'll get cute again here. Kyle Williams.
Yes. Very nice.
That's my guy this year. I've been drafting a lot of him. I drafted him in a dynasty startup with Drake May. recently. That
All right.
offense will be quite interesting.
Homer play by me, but give me Tugboat Tootin out of Virginia Tech. I think they drafted him for a reason. I think
Yeah.
ETN feels like he's been on the outs for a little bit now. So
Yeah. I think so too. I don't remember the last time I have seen anything positive about ETN come out in the media either.
I'm comically high on the Jags. It makes me feel sick because I didn't want to have this position, and then you just start looking at the teams around them in the division, and it's like, my God,
I don't think it's
that
hard to get there either. Is the thing.
well, they have this like coach GM combo that I don't know if you might be too young to remember the term butt munch, but Colby Dant on the college experience loves calling people butt munches. Liam Cohen seems like a butt munch.
I kind of like him.
I know it's weird. I'm like, I've gone full turn. Immediately it was like right in my notes. I'm like, fade Jags at all costs.
Duval. Yeah, I
And
know.
then
I
it's
just
like, well, actually, he's saying a lot of things that I like to hear here. I can just got to get over the hump with Trevor
and you look at
Lawrence.
his past and like he's shown to be successful. Like I kind of think he has all the tools that he could need to have a. I think it's going to come down to a lot of Trevor Lawrence and like him
Yeah.
actually elevating his game because he doesn't have a lot of excuses otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be we thought it was Doug P. Maybe his offense was washed. This is like the most progressive offense that has been seen. And also Baker and him are they're very different, but they're also very similar.
Yes. Do you like either of the rookie tight ends, Warren or Loveland, or any of the other guys? I think the only one that I like is Mason Taylor. I think that there is a weird pathway to Mason Taylor just because of who is on that team, and there's not a lot of guys there to demand targets.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tyler Warren, I'm gonna die on the hill. I worry about his hands. His hands. No, what I really worry about is he's going to a situation where the offense is not exactly filled up with quarterbacks that sling the rock well. So I would say for a guy who was schemed open a lot up there in Penn State, I wonder if he's going to get the same treatment. Dan Jones and AR-15 both suck at those type of short around the line of scrimmage
Yeah.
throws. We know this. We watched Daniel Jones have no touch for many years, and so I
Yeah.
worry a little bit about that. So I'd probably be maybe more interested in Loveland, but to your point, I rookie tight ends are so often bust. It's just why not take a little bit of a flyer?
They are like fun to draft in dynasty startups and putting them on a taxi squad and then moving on. And then producer Ryan, I don't know if you can scroll down a little bit, but you should be able to maybe. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Your guy is there.
Multiple guys are here. Kyle Pitts is there.
I can't do it. I'm too hurt.
I have the Falcons. Do I triple stack Michael Penix right here? Is that crazy?
No, I don't think it's crazy.
Or do I double stack Geno and grab Beck? I think I'm going to double stack.
I'm upset here because this would be a place that I like. I wouldn't mind taking Freiermuth, but now I don't love that anymore. So
I get the sense reading stuff that Jonu is not necessarily going to take anything away from Freiermuth. He's going to be, playing a different position.
I'm going to take Algier actually. And then I'm going to go.
The guys I typically love, but not on this team.
God.
I don't love that you basically attacked me with that Algier.
I did.
It was very personal.
I'm gonna. Oh crap! I just panicked and took Benson.
No, that's he was in my queue.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Connor's not going to be clean like he was last year.
Yeah, there's no way. I just hate it because I've been such a Connors supporter for so long in my life that I feel bad going against him now, but it's time.
I mean, it's impressive that he held up last year. Maybe he holds up again.
Maybe.
But I think it was like the most. It was like one of the healthiest years we've seen from the top of the running back fantasy board, and so it does seem like some regressions do.
Has to be. It's probably a good time to tell everyone about the Circa Million and Circa Survivor contest. If you think you know ball, then you have to enter Circa's football contest with 21 million in guaranteed prizes. There is no rake, so if entries go above the guarantee, all extra money will go to the prize pool. And for the 400th millionth time, you need to join the Ultimate Fantasy Football Draft Experience. You can still go and enter that. Circa Million, you pick 5 teams against the spread each week or go for the ultimate sweat in Circa Survivor. There is even a Circa Grandissimo, a $100,000 survivor contest for all you big dogs out there. You must register in person at a Circa Sportsbook in Nevada. Great excuse to book a trip to Las Vegas. I know a bunch of us from the SGPN squad will be out there contest weekends. You can come hang with us, sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off your proxy fees. Can't wait to get back to
oh
Circa.
my goodness. It's, it's fun. Well, we're there every Friday during football season, but once college basketball ends, we stop going.
Yeah.
And it's like the first time all over again. So then I get to start being excited for Vegas, being excited for the NFL slot machine, being excited for Saginaw's, being excited for the brisket fried rice.
Oh yeah. Yep. You need to get a banana split delivered to your room. Did you know? I don't know if you heard.
Is that from Victory Burger?
Okay, no, this is the craziest thing. So when that video came out, a bunch of the guys from Circa messaged me and they were like, "Hey, like great video, but like, what are you talking about, banana split?" And I was like, "Oh, let me teach you a little something about your resort." So you get them delivered.
Wow.
Just via room service. So they're not on any menu anywhere. You have to get them in your room and they are so good.
Yeah, it's like Steph's getting some off menu treatment.
Aaron was like, "Where the fuck did you order a banana split?" I'm like, "Oh,
Aaron's not high enough in the pyramid to get that kind of intel."
Yeah, sorry.
he's got to talk to a guy.
Tua just went.
Oh, he was in my queue. I do have Jaylen Waddle.
Was he? Oh yeah. Okay.
I didn't really want to take him, but it's like he's kept falling and falling.
Sometimes I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Firemuth makes it back to me after today, to be honest with you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think another guy, you have Burrow, right?
I do.
I think Gesicki's probably someone that you should be queuing up.
Okay.
I'll be nice. I'll be nice. Yeah.
Good point there.
I love the idea of just pinning a tight end to your quarterback is an easy way to get tight ends and also, build some of that stack equity. I think the numbers stay. We still like a double stack better than a single stack or a triple stack. And in general, tight ends are so random. You probably just want to correlate them.
Yeah. That clears.
Right,
I don't mind double tapping tight end for myself here.
I'm going to take my third quarterback, get that Geno double stack locked in.
I'm going to take Firemuth here, and then I'm going to take Gesicki and just be done with my tight ends, and then not
double tight end situation.
Yeah, just be done with it. Because I could do without a lot of this jazz right here.
Yeah, so this is another guy I keep drafting because I don't see how he doesn't end up as the goal line back. He paid me off with a 2 touchdown bet last year. Roschon Johnson. We're gonna do the thing where we think DeAndre Swift's gonna stay healthy again, like that. We're gonna do that every year.
What's the one thing like Ben Johnson's offense has always the foundation of it is just a strong run offense. So I just think there's no way that he doesn't get involved.
And specifically, I mean, maybe it wasn't Ben Johnson's scheme to have 2 types of backs, but it kind of feels like DeAndre Swift's Gibbs and Roschon Johnson's Montgomery. Yeah. So. In best ball, you don't have to worry about starting him. You just get the touchdowns.
Yeah. And the nerds love DeAndre Swift this year. So I hate DeAndre Swift this year.
There's another one that's puzzling to me. That's very puzzling.
I'm out on that. All right,
I only have one tight end still. That's I probably have to work on that.
Well, I have one quarterback. So Should probably address.
That's Burrow though. It's an MVP candidate. You're
That's
good.
cool. True. Should probably look to. Well, I have Flacco queued up.
Oh
for
yeah.
Later.
You got to get him. You got to get him.
Way later.
And then let's see, what else do you have on this team that's stackable late?
A lot of nothing.
The Jets situation.
Yes, but I think that's ship already sailed.
Oh yeah, he left already. What am I talking about?
I'm gonna have to take Aaron Rodgers, I think.
Ain't no shame in that.
I might have to.
He was an MVP pretty recently.
I don't hate Sam Darnold this late. Like I don't think it's a horrible option, but I don't love it either.
I'm irrationally low on him, but
okay. You should
I could see you have JSN and Cup, two like elite route runners. You have some bruising running backs. You're going to be a good defensive team. I guess I can see it.
I don't know if I can see it, but I don't hate it here. Yes.
Got to squint.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we on Darius Slayton this year?
I'm not writing him off.
I know. I'm about to draft him if he's there. The Jalen Hyatt gained 15 pound stories are just laughable to me.
This is the classic. Like, I know when a story is bullshit. It's like not even just bullshit. It's just shut up. It's not it's not happening. Like, it's just it's okay. We already did the Hyatt thing. The Hyatt thing is not happening.
Just shut up.
Literally shut up. I could see him gaining that weight and then putting him on special teams. Like that's like what the weight is going to get him.
Yeah, he's just not that good at. Unfortunately, he's not that good at receiver. All right, yeah, I'm entitled to one homer pick. And honestly, with the way that the Giants are going to be throwing the ball down the field this year,
I think I have to take Daniel Jones.
Oh, is that a stack?
No.
Oh boy, good luck. I guess there's not much out there, but
really not. I'm about to auto pick. Oh, this is bad. What did I? Oh,
no,
shit.
That's fine. That's good pick. That's good pick.
That was actually my cue. I didn't even mean to do that. It's better than taking Nick Chubb, which
I would take. Honestly, I would take AR-15 if you're going to take one of those guys.
I mean, I have to take someone.
He was scoring so many points per game.
Yeah.
If you really want to be diabolical and look at the Colts quarterback situation.
Okay. I'm not going to do that. Jackson Dart is going ahead of Russell Wilson. For what reason?
That I don't know.
What is fucking wrong with people? What do you mean? That makes no sense. There's still Jameis should be going ahead. That's crazy to me. That's wild.
I took Keenan Allen. He's another one that I don't understand. He's gonna sign somewhere. God help us all if it's like the Chiefs or something. Once we find out Rashee Rice is missing 10 games, finally, whatever injury suspension he's about to get.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah, it gets pretty gross down here. You have to start scrolling and not like making sure you're not looking at ADP at this point in the draft. I haven't been looking at what other people are doing on this.
One of the things we've been doing on the show is at the end of the draft, we guess how people will ask us to look at their team and guess how old they are. So based on how they drafted, we're trying to guess the age of the drafter.
Have you been doing
I'm pretty good at it. It's running back. You see a guy picking a lot of running backs early, probably in the 40s. See a guy go 6 straight receivers, probably like 25, barely know how to pay rent.
You know who I guess I don't completely hate since I'm in like desperation for a quarterback is Tyler Shuck probably is like, since it's just best ball, I can kind of get in and get out with him. And it's like, we're not committing to too much with him.
I don't like how they're saying that Spencer Rattler currently has the lead in the clubhouse. That's
I feel
a little
like they
concerning
think that until they go back and like watch him play because it was not fun. Like, did you watch tape from last year? He sucked.
I still think it's wild that Tyler Shuck backed up Justin Herbert at Oregon. That's how old he is.
It's like sickening, actually. Someone double tapped Daniel Jones and AR-15.
Okay, that I don't think that's a plus EV move, but I respect it.
I'd love to see how that plays out. I mean, I could take Ross. I don't really need him because I don't have any.
Oh,
I don't think I can really stack anything else.
you should take. Let's see. What do you have? 5. You probably should take a receiver.
Okay. Troy Franklin's interesting. A Umanor.
I need a tight end. Which tight end do I like the best? I think we got to go Roschon Johnson. No pressure.
Just a little.
Let's see. Who do we have? Oh, there's not much out there.
Oh,
Westbrook and Kinney would be the key pick.
Yeah, I was scrolling for him and then I panicked and picked Troy Franklin. Could have been worse. Not my favorite draft. Do you want to read off yours?
Yeah.
I liked your draft.
I probably made one. I probably shouldn't. I miscalculated how many rounds we had left. Probably shouldn't have taken Keenan Allen. I have Kyler Murray, Michael Penix, Geno Smith. So a little 3 quarterback weave. Bijan, Amarian Hampton, Tugboat Tootin, and Roschon Johnson. So only 4 running backs. Gonna have to hit there. T. Higgins, Jaylen Waddle, Jacoby Myers, Darnell Mooney, Rashid Shaheed, Luther Burden, Jack Beck, Darius Slayton, Keenan Allen, Trey McBride, Roschon Johnson. My regret here is probably I should trade Keenan Allen for a tight end, but
okay.
Other than that,
I like the wide receivers quite a bit.
Yeah,
I have ew, this is gross. I have Burrow, Rodgers, Flacco, quarterback wise. Then Bucky, James Cook. I like where I got James Cook. Tyrone Tracy, Algier, and Benson. Probably could have taken another running back at some point. And then Chase, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Trey Harris, Kyle Williams, Troy Franklin, and then Njoku, Freiermuth, and Gesicki. It's actually one of those gross ones that ends up doing well.
yeah, you got the right components in there, and you didn't draft any Cowboys.
Yeah, exactly. I have to stay true to the brand there. Who's been your favorite player to tap on like most teams, like since you've been doing it?
Whoa. I mean, I would say I can even pull up my ownership, but I'd imagine I have a ton of Jacoby Myers.
Okay.
I'd imagine I have a good amount of Jaylen Waddle. Tugboat Tootin out there in Jacksonville has been one of my favorites. I'm pretty high on the Bengals. I feel like I've ended up with them a lot. Jonas Smith is my the highest exposure I have is to Jonas Smith. We'll have to revisit Chase Brown. We didn't talk much about that, but speaking of the Bengals, Chase Brown's my highest running back. Geno Smith's my highest quarterback. My highest stack is Geno and Jacoby Myers.
How do you even see who you are?
If you go into your drafts and then completed, you can see exposure.
Oh, I see. Okay. I have a lot of Tyler. I have Tyler Algier in every team.
Well, sometimes those late running backs, it's like you're not wrong for drafting him every time because you're drafting him so late. My guy like that this year is probably Raheem Mostert.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily taking him with the Geno Jacoby Myers stacks, but on teams where I don't have any other Raiders, I'm taking him late. He's their back. He's probably their backup running back. I know we like Ashton Jeanty, but that's certainly an interesting one. Another favorite, a handcuff of mine, is the Jordan Mason situation in Minnesota. Certainly looks like he could get the goal line work over Aaron Jones. He's going pretty late.
Yeah, I don't think I've taken a lot of him, honestly. I don't have as much Vikings as I normally do, as I'm like one of those people that tends to be higher on the Vikings every year than everyone else. Hawkinson is now going higher than I thought he would, and he had been slipping a little bit when I first started doing them, but now at like, what is he going, like tight end 5?
It's pretty high. There's a lot. I understand that offense has shown that they can do their thing no matter who the quarterback is. I mean, we saw the Nick Mullins, the Pasternaut, Sam Darnold looking like an all pro. So it's still hard for me to see the JJ McCarthy thing working right away.
Yeah.
But and their defense should be. I think the part that no one talks about is that they should have a very good defense. They might not be a high fly. They might not need to be a high flying offensive attack. It might be a little. Maybe they got Jordan Mason because they plan on running the ball more. So yeah, I think there's a number of reasons, or he could just completely not be good. I mean, they wanted to keep Dan Jones, Steph. They wanted Dan Jones to stay on the team.
Yeah.
makes me a little worried, a tiny bit worried if I'm a Vikings fan. Although I will say, got to spend a little bit of time with JJ McCarthy's dad out in at the Circa with Derek. Very cool. Like definitely want to root for the family. Very,
Yeah.
very cool. Yeah.
Although he is not the easiest person to root for some reason. Like I don't like the whole like the meditation. Like I don't. His whole like aura is off. Whatever the kids say, aura. His aura doesn't match my aura.
As a fellow youth sports parent, I'm talking about JJ McCarthy's dad now at this point. I did respect that he was at the time JJ hadn't been drafted yet, and he was just focused on getting JJ drafted into the North so that he could drive to all the divisional games.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I like this angle. We can hang out.
That's pretty cool. That's not too bad. All right, I'll let you get out of here. Let people know what you have going on. You guys are getting through all those rankings episodes, which are awesome, especially if you're like me and you just started jumping back into the fantasy game.
Yeah, so we just got finished doing our extremely serious fantasy football top 10s for 2025. We also are in the middle of playing our college football preview series with Colby Dant from the College Experience. Sean and I are basically about to head off and kind of take some vacation. So we have a huge catalog of college previews set to go live over the next couple of weeks, and then once we get back mid July, we got the British Open.
Hell yeah!
And then following the British Open, that Sunday night will be our first NFL team preview. And then, yeah, basically from that point on, it's team previews and NFL content. So hop on.
Absolutely love it. All right, I'm going to let you get out of here. Producer Ryan, I'm going to have you jump back on so I can go through a couple of golf things before we get out of here. Appreciate you. We'll have to get you on for one more before the season starts.
Oh, definitely. Let's do another one of these.
Yeah, they're fun. See ya. How's it going?
I'm good. I wasn't prepared.
I know. I'm sorry. I was chatty Cathy, so I just thought I would get through some more picks for the people for golf so that I could do a couple more of these ad reads.
Okay, cool. Let's do it.
Does that sound good? Okay. So we've talked about rhythm. Obviously, you guys know all about it. The power trends, their AI detected patterns with where rhythms, a model has consistently won and has a high ROI. I think a strikeout prop that wins at 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. You also know that I tend to just not give you a power trend, and I just decide I'm going to give you a pick for golf. So this year, there is a winner's house at, I don't know how many people know this. John Deere, the last 3 years, the winner has come out of this house where like 7 to 8 guys stay at for the tournament. So both my picks for this tournament are going to come out of this house and the guys that are staying there because we just found out who is staying there this year. So this year, JT Poston is one of the gentlemen that will be in the house. I have him getting a top 20 at plus 160 for Mr. JT Poston. He's projected to finish second. And then also staying in this house is Chris Kirk. He just lost in a playoff. He was one of the 3 guys that were in a playoff. He is 33-1 on mybookie.ag.
Yeah, that's tasty.
That's a tasty number, especially if you go and
tasty number.
That they have like Ben Griffin is like a 14-1. So I like him. He's also in that winner's house. The winner has come out of this house for the last, sounds like a cult kind of, for the last 3 straight years. So I would head to mybookie.ag. I bet on it right before the show. Code SMALLS for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. And then tomorrow we're doing a Love Island episode. Wednesday, what do we have Wednesday, producer Ryan, before we get out of here? I forget.
Well, great. Now you put me on the spot, and I know.
We need a little bit of.
We have Brad, comedian, and super Dolphins
Jeff Bell,
fans,
right?
And Jeff Bell. Yes. So we're gonna do a Dolphins deep dive preview, and then Jeff Bell is gonna talk Dynasty.
Yes, amazing. Okay, so we're back in the fantasy world. We'll do some more of these drafts. I appreciate everyone for listening, and I will see you guys tomorrow night for some Love Island nonsense.